What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Alright, so before I get into this video, I want to give a big shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, the brother Robert Mason coming through with the donation to the channel via the PayPal. A long-time subscriber, big-time Golden State Warriors fan, and frequent contributor to the channel, whether it's through monetary donations, video suggestions, sports conversations, you know, real good dude, man. Much respect to him for showing love to Too Raw for TV, aka Too Raw for Sports. So I've been seeing a lot of chatter on social media and articles talking about Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics. And there's a lot of, this happens with every star player when they near their end of their contract. And there's this push from the media to develop storylines and narratives, and essentially all for ratings. And players have to be very careful about what they say, because the media are looking for buzzwords or buzz phrases to isolate and to push the stories using these buzzwords and phrases to create the narrative that they want to put out there. They will take things that you say out of context and they will misquote you. And they'll feign ignorance. That's the power of today's media. And social media, to me, is even more powerful than print or television media, as far as the effect it has on the average viewing or listening audience. But the problem I'm having is this. Whether or not Jaylen Brown chooses to leave Boston is up in the air. He seems committed to playing for Boston. He's saying all the right things. But at the end of the day, money, maybe the allure of trying to be the man, the challenge of trying to be the man, going to another franchise, maybe that will prove to be enough for him to leave. But what's bothering me is this. There are a lot of people who seem to be portraying Jaylen Brown as like a villain, or like if he leaves Boston, he's betraying Jayson Tatum. Right? Now let's be honest. Even though Boston is one of the best teams in the NBA, and they did go to an NBA Finals just last year, they're not champions. They never won a championship, at least this core. Of course, Boston has 17 championships in its history, but this core have never won anything. Now, if they go on to win a championship this year, hey, that's a whole new dynamic we got to look at when we're talking about Jaylen Brown in the near future. But if Jaylen Brown chooses to leave, let's say Boston doesn't win a championship or don't even go to the finals, and they have a disappointing season, and let's say they have another disappointing season next year, just saying if that's the case. If he chooses to leave via free agency, especially if it's something to do with that plus, money, maybe, he's tired of the fact that his name always comes up in trade talks. Well, that's his prerogative. As a free agent, he has the right to go to another team. But I have a feeling that if that happens, he's going to be traded as a villain. So I segue into talking about, you can guess it, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. Now, from my memory, Russell Westbrook, Steven Adams, who was with the team at the time, and others, Cephalosha, I think is another one. The players who were Serge Ibaka, I think he was still with the. I think Serge either just left the team or he was ready to lead the team. But anyway, the point is, Kevin Durant gave his teammates every indication that he was going to resign. There's even reports that he had a steak dinner with Russ and all these other guys, 5-star restaurant. But he gave them the impression that he was going to resign, ultimately for them to find out that he was going to go to the Warriors on July 4th, on 2016, when that news broke. Now, he has a right to go to wherever he wants to go, but what I recall, the prevailing majority of people in the media said it was the right thing to do. Russell Westbrook is holding you back. You can't win a championship with this guy. Russ can't shoot. He does dumb things. And that was the genesis, to be honest with you, that was the genesis of the anti-Russ criticisms that you started hearing in the media. Russ's exemplary one-man army type play held a lot of criticism back, but once he went to LA, it went full throttle. Now, this is my thing. Maybe KD did the right thing. He won 2 championships, won 2 Finals MVP going to Golden State. Maybe it was the right decision. But maybe it will be the right decision for Jaylen Brown to go elsewhere. I mean, let's not forget, part of the reason why they lost and blew that 2-1 lead to the Warriors last year was Andrew Wiggins, of all people, shutting Jayson Tatum down. Now, let's just say they have another series and something similar happens. Because I've said before, oftentimes when Boston loses, it's because Jayson Tatum is shooting the team. Sometimes it's because he shoots his team out of the game. He takes stupid step-back threes and bad shots instead of mixing it up, sometimes going to the hole, sometimes, utilize the mid-range, sometimes, try to get the easier shot. You don't always have to yak up threes, especially step-backs. I mean, what's the percentage of a contested step-back three anyway? What's the percentage of making that shot? Like 23% or something? 27%? But anyway, that's all I gotta say in this video, man. Look, if he leaves, he isn't betraying anybody. He's exercising his right to go wherever he wants to. The same thing that happened with with Ray Allen. Ray Allen chose to leave Boston to go to Miami. A part of him probably was tired of his name being in trade talks. Maybe he saw the writing on the wall. Maybe he saw that Boston was getting older. He went elsewhere. For 10 years, you had the core big three, especially KG and Rondo, hating on him, even though all of those guys ended up being traded, if I'm not mistaken, right? Didn't all of them end up being traded? I can't remember whether Rondo left for free agency or not, but they all ended up being elsewhere. I know that. But they plead such loyalty to the Boston Celtics. I know for a fact Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Big Baby Davis were all traded away. I believe KG and Paul Pierce were traded to the Nets, and that was the trade that led the pathway to them having the picks to eventually get Jaylen Brown and Tatum and create the team they have today. And they traded Big Baby Dumbass to the Clippers, right? Remember that? But anyway, that's all I got to say in this video. Tell me what you guys think.